Hello, welcome to Module 6 of the Plantain Farming Business course on Agronomy. In this module, we'll be addressing pest and disease management in plantain farming. We'll be learning about how to protect plantains from common pests and disease. By the end of this module, we would have identified common pests and diseases affecting plantain crops, learn how to prevent and control them, then understand what integrated pest management is and how to apply it. Lastly, we will develop a pest and disease treatment plan. What are the common pests in plantain? There are two of them. There's nematodes and there's banana weevil. For nematodes, they are microscopic worms. What that means is that you can't see them with your naked eyes. But they're the ones that cause stunted growth. And how you know that you're dealing with nematodes, if you start seeing yellowing on your leaf and you start seeing the leaf wilting. What does wilting mean? It's getting weak and then it's coming with yellowing, right? For banana weevils too, they are small small black beetles. This one you can see some of them, but how you notice it is that you notice tunneling in your stem, and for some reason that wilting leaves and the die back of plants, so the plant is dying back. So it means that whenever you see yellowing nematode, once you see wilting of leaf with yellowing nematode, wilting of leaf with dying back of the plant, it's banana weevils. There is also aphids. Aphids are also small small insects that feed on your plant sap. So they feed on that up part where the leaves are supposed to develop from. How do you notice it? You notice that your leaves start coiling up, right? And you start seeing honeydew excretions. It's like watery excretions for no just reason. Aphid after eating on the plant sap. That is why the water is coming out. Then there's also what they call thrips. Thrips are tiny insects that cause spotting. So once you start seeing silver or white lines on your leaf, you know, and it's like sign of lack of photosynthesis, you know that thrips have reached there. Especially once you start noticing the spotting, just know that thrips insects are there. Now, how do you control them? For nematode, you have to introduce predatory nematodes to control the harmful soil. Usually you need to get somebody who is in the health part of agriculture to help you manage this. But there are natural predators like ladybugs and spiders you can use to control aphid and other pests. Your most natural form is neem oil. Use neem oil to repel these pests against coming to your plantain. So you can always buy neem oil in the market and spray them on your leaves, spray them along your stem to help yourself. There are chemical control measures, and this is when it comes to insecticide, fungicide, right? But they will always say be very careful when you start putting chemicals to treat these things. If they give you dosage, please use it. If they ask you to maintain safety instruction, wear gloves, wear sunshade, please use them to avoid harm. And if there are rules, maybe they ask you to dilute it with certain quantity of water. Don't use less because you are seeing more of this insect, because you dare affect the beneficial insect that is needed around that plantain, and you also affect the soil health. For insecticide, there is an insecticide called triodes. Triodes, you can find them in many insecticide company, insecticide shops where they sell health things for farming. You use them for your banana weevils and aphid. Then there are things we call the nematicides for nematodes, right? Always ask them, how do you use them? What is the effect of control measure? When you apply pesticide or your biological control early, you will not face them. You'll be able to prevent them. and your effectiveness of your farm will be at its maximum. Den when you are spraying, please target the area that has visible damage. Don't do prevention is better than cure, you now pour the whole chemical everywhere. That's how you kill plantain we are supposed to use and make money. When I now want to come and collect commission on your farm, it becomes hard for me because you have gone and carry chemical and pour everywhere. Agrodermy did not say you should pour chemical everywhere. Please pour in the place with visible damage. Again, wear protective gear. You are not strong, your immune is not strong, don test your immune system. Wear protective gear when applying dis chemical. Avoid spraying during windy condition, because one part of you will now start advising you dat as the wind is blowing to make the spray easy, it will go far. Avoid it, that's a trap. That's a trap. That is a trap. It's not healthy for you, it does not even help the plant you are trying to help out. I used to say something whenever I make bad decisions, intentionally make bad decisions. I tell myself that it was a madman that advised me. Please let no madman advise you to spray during windy condition. Thank you. Now for diseases, what we had dealt with is pests. Now for diseases, there is the black sigatoka diseases, there is Panama disease. So black sigatoka, e affect the leaves and reduces the photosynthesis. How do you know? Once you start noticing yellowing and browning at the tips of the leaf, and that leads to the death of that leaf, and it has happened consistently, you know that your plantain is dealing with black sigatoka. But if you notice the yellowing on the veins of the leaf, know that it is Panama disease. Panama is soil, from the soil, right? So it affects the root. That is why you see the yellowing on the veins. Sigatoka is fungi, and its goal is just to reduce photosynthesis. That is why you see yellowing on the leaf tips itself, and you see a lot of dark streak, and next the leaf will die. But once you see whittling and then you see yellowing in the veins, know that it is Panama you are dealing with. How do you prevent it? Please just buy suckers that are resistant of it. Keep spacing very serious. Plant with good spacing. Clean the environment. Clean your tools after use. Avoid planting plantain in the same location year after year, so that you can break the disease circle, right? So if you plant plantain here, plant something else, right? So that you can break disease circle. And what are curative measures? So that one is preventive. How do you prevent? But now that we have prevented, how d- we have prevented for those who already have it. If you don't already have it, how do you now cure when you have it? Chemical. You need fungicide for sigatoka. Follow manufacturer guideline. In fact, this should be in bold. Follow manufacturer guideline. And for your soil treatment, use soil fumigant, right? And soil fumigant, especially for Panama, because Panama is soil issue. That's why it goes to the vein. So ensure that the soil treatment you are using is strictly on the soil. Now for black sigatoka, right, remove all infected leaves, cut and dispose them to reduce the spread. Avoid overhead irrigation, that is irrigating from the up. Make sure the irrigation is down so that it does not, the water will not allow for, if you pour too much water above it, especially dwarf plantain, you allow for that spores. Use your fungicide, follow the timing and dosage, right? But best, always select plantain varieties from areas that are prone to black sigatoka. So avoid them as much as you can, right? So, and when you want to replant, plant plantains that are already resistant to areas that are prone to it, so that even when you plant it, you will not have to deal with it. For Panama, soil fumigation, and it's always advised that you fumigate before you plant. So this is why if you jump the land preparation techniques, you deal with it later. Avoid replanting in infected area. Once you notice it, do not plant plantain in that field for at least 5 years. Are you seeing why your land preparation has to be correct? Because you then lose, it's like you now have land but you cannot do anything on that land for another 5 years because of the disease you have found. Always use disease free planting materials and ensure that the nursery high practices of where you bought your suckers for are clean. The last way you want to go about this thing is integrated pest management. So this is where you combine practices that helps you avoid pests and diseases using either biological things around you, cultural things, mechanical things or chemical things. The goal is to minimize the use of chemical pesticide. So the idea is there a way you can use biological activities and mechanical activities to reduce your pesticide use on your farm? That act is what we call IPM. And what's IPM? It's good for prevention, monitoring, for biological control, mechanical and physical control, and chemical control. So for prevention, implement good cultural practices, do crop rotation, do proper spacing, maintain soil health. For monitoring, please monitor your farm. That is why you need to have a farm manager even if you're not going to be there all the time. For biological control, always have natural predators. We spoke about natural predators when we were talking about curative measures for plantain diseases. And then use mechanical and physical control such as trap to remove pests. So you have to look for traps that you can use to remove the pests that are coming to perch. And lastly, only go to chemicals as your last resort. Only go to chemicals as your last resort. The benefit of IPM is that if you follow IPM process, which is monitoring and biological control and then mechanical control, you'll be able to reduce your chemical usage and its cost is effective, right? And it's a sustainable practice because you're not helping the environment. Climate change that is not affecting rain patterns, you are not contributing to it. And then you also help you to not begin to grow plantains that are resistant to all of these diseases because you are using natural way to solve them. If you're in Nigeria and watching this, it's like using agbo so that you don't have to be buying already processed medicine on for your plant health. So what's the assignment here, guys? If you have a plantain farm around you, this is your day to go and tour around it, right? Preferably pick any pest or disease, identify how you will recognize them, and then draw out a plan based on the curative measures that I shared with you and preventive measures. And you can share that with somebody who is a farmer around you. If you run a plantain farm, share that with your farm manager or yourself. Design a means that allows you to practice them. In summary, there are common pests. We've talked about how to recognize them. Nematodes, banana weevils, and aphid. We spoke about the black sigatoka and the Panama disease. Then we spoke about the IPM approach, which is the integrated pest management approach to managing your plantain farm in a way that reduces chemical practices on your farm. Welcome to the end of this module. See you in the next module.